Hello and welcome back to Insane Nightmare. I am in the desert. I've just spent the past about 6 minutes mining up some oil shale here in the desert because we're going to need it today. You can see I mined out a decent amount. I did this with my steel pick because I discovered something pretty interesting, and that is since they've buffed some of the tools in the stable branch of Alpha 21, you can one-shot a lot more of the ores. Now, if you haven't been following my channel for a while, you might be unaware that in the previous series I did, I tested the difference between the auger and the steel pickaxe. And basically, when it comes to which is the most efficient, it entirely comes down to if you can one-shot a block with your steel pick. If your steel pick can one-shot the block, it will always be much faster than the auger. That's the conclusion we came to, but there wasn't that many ores you could actually one-shot in the previous build of Alpha 21. You would usually, hit an oil shale and it would have like 3 health left if you're using a steel pick at level 6 with a bunch of mods, but they've buffed all the tools ever so slightly, so that is no longer the case. And I discovered something else which isn't like brand new news, but it's newly confirmed to me, and that is if we hit this oil, you'll see I do about 550 damage. But if I equipped the Bunker Buster, which says it does more damage against stone, it actually means all of the things that are like stone, including oil shale. Meaning, I can one-shot it all with just a level 5 steel pick. And Miner 69er rank 5, of course. Now, I haven't confirmed this, but I would assume that will also be the case for stone, nitrate, and coal, which means that since I can one-shot all of the oil shale, stone, nitrate, and coal with a steel pick, it should always be faster than the auger, but we will give that a double check because maybe they also buffed the auger to be extremely good. But I needed to come out here to get oil shale to make gas to use the auger for the tests, hence why we did that. But after just 6 minutes with a rockbuster on there, I got myself 4 stacks of oil shale with this steel pick. So even if the auger is the same or better, this is definitely still very efficient. That was in 6 minutes. I used standard block settings, standard yields. I do have mother load maxed out, of course. But yeah, you can get a lot of materials using just the steel pick. Now, I imagine that this will not one-shot iron, which is over here. This might be where the auger would win, when you can't one-shot the block, which I don't think I can do with iron, no. So the auger might win on the iron and lead tests because iron and lead obviously are affected by the iron breaker rather than the bunker buster. But we'll give that a confirmed test later. In the meantime, I did get a skill point while I was mining and I'm not sure what I want to put that into, but let's get some gunslinger for my SMG. So I'm going to go back to my base and start crafting up a bunch of gas. The objective of today's episode is twofold. I want to test out the various ores and compare them versus the pickaxe and the auger, and I want to also get enough materials to start building a new crafting base somewhere better than where I live. Somewhere near but not in the wasteland so that we can access it later on for higher level gear if I want it, although there's little to no advantage to doing so, and so that I can just do some of the tier 5s that might be in the wasteland as tier 6 infestations, which will probably be very entertaining for you guys. So let me run back over to my gyrocopter. I'll fly home, make some gas, and then we can do some more tests with this pickaxe while we wait for that to craft, and then we can start doing some comparisons. So my chemistry station can just start making me a bunch of stacks of gas cans. So while we wait for the gas to craft so I can do my tests, let's go hunt down a node of nitrate and a node of coal so that I can test the damage on them. There's some over there. Alright, so let's test it without the bunker buster here to make sure the nitrate is affected by it. So without, exactly the same as the oil shale, and with the bunker buster we can one-shot the nitrate. Keep in mind, again, 5 ranks of Miner 69er and a level 5 pick with 4 mods on it. Now, there was some coal nearby, which I suspect is also going to be the same as oil shale and nitrate, but it doesn't hurt to double check. Yep, that's the same so far. And then, yep, these are also one-shottable with a level 5 steel pick now too. While I wait for my gas to craft, I do actually need a decent amount of gunpowder soon, so I guess I'm just gonna quickly pop some rockbusters and mine these, but this isn't gonna be tested either. This is me just actually needing materials. Alright, so in less than a rockbuster's worth of time, I got about 2 stacks of nitrate and 2 stacks of coal. That's going to be a decent amount of gunpowder for my ammo crafting needs. This hasn't even made me one gas in that time, of course. Let me also queue up a bunch of gunpowder. This is gonna need a lot more fuel than that, but it's fine. Wait, I can queue even more? Yeah, I'm gonna need a few more chemistry stations in the long run, I think. Right, well, while I wait for some gas from my auger, I'm gonna take my steel axe out and I'm gonna chop down some trees, because I will also need wood for various things today. Okay, I have cut down a lot of trees. This whole place was filled with trees. A moment ago, I got about 2.5 stacks of wood, so that's pretty good. Okay, have you made me some gas? Okay, we got 1 stack. That will do for now. Got some coffee, and I've got more rock busters, right? Yep. I'm gonna go check the trader nearby before I go mining some more to get a couple more rock busters, hopefully. One, and I'll need to sell some diamonds to get some more. And another one. There, so I've got 5, that's a good start. So, I know we said oil shale, but I really don't need any more oil shale, and nitrate, coal, and oil shale are in fact the same thing in terms of stats and stuff, so I think I want to actually test it on coal, because it's just a bit more of a useful resource for me right now. 2 coal nodes should be enough to let me continuously mine for, 5 minutes with the steel pick here, so I'm going to set a quick timer. Let me drink a couple of coffees first. And let's go. The timer has started. I will now mine as much coal as I can in the next 5 minutes. And that is 5 more seconds of the timer to go. We've been able to mine coal pretty much continuously. And there it is done. So that was 21,546. Let's round that up to 22,000. I doubt the difference between the two is going to be that close anyway, but let's stick this in the 4x4. I'll keep it separate from these stacks, but this was what we got with the steel pick there. There's a bunch of stone and iron, which is very helpful. In the interest of not accidentally clicking the sort button and having this coal dumped in with that other coal, I'm going to stick this in here and hopefully I remember it. So this is what we got there. Basically 3.5 stacks. Now I'm going to move the bunker buster over to the auger. The auger is of course level 5 with 4 mods, an iron breaker. It's got a gravedigger, an extra large tank mod, everything you could probably need. Now this little hole isn't fully mined out, but in the interest of giving a similar experience, I am just going to use the next door coal node to start off with. I'll need 2 coffees again, just to make sure that this is fair in terms of the ore you actually get per node. Let me pause that real quick and start the timer and begin. Now, in order to minimize the amount of heat I'm making with the auger, this is taking so much longer already, I can tell. I'm going to be keeping the mouse button clicked down as much as possible, because clicking is actually what causes the auger's heat to rise a lot faster. You see, what it does is every time you click with the auger, you generate like 1% heat, and if you do 100%, you're gonna summon a screamer. Now it will go up gradually even with the auger just being active and breaking blocks, but it's a lot more noticeable if you keep taking your finger off the click, so we'll be avoiding that where possible. So we're just about at a minute left, and the auger is only just over 2.5 stacks. Why is there a dog? What the fuck? Oh, there's a zombie bear in here now, isn't there? Why? Right. Well, that is going to complicate the test for the auger. There's always something. We can never just have a test, can we? There has to be some stupid thing that goes on. We've had no screamers so far. But yeah, there was a minute left on the timer there, and the auger had only gotten to 2.5 stacks. But that test, because I had to fight a fucking zombie bear in the middle of it, is a little bit flunked. So this can just go in the extra resources pile that I accidentally gathered up. And we'll do another test with the auger, which is really annoying because it's a waste of my damn time, but it just had to spawn a little zombie dog and zombie bear horde, didn't it? Couldn't help itself. I already had a wandering horde today. I thought I was in the clear. I thought it would be like, yeah. But it was literally exactly 12 hours ago in-game that horde came, I think. So the game is being really fucking arseholey with its wandering hordes today. So let me get back in there and do the test again. There seems to be plenty of coal left, so if nothing else, I'm going to have enough coal for the rest of the damn series. Let me restart the timer, redo my coffee. Fuck's sake. There's always something. And begin. So we're coming up on a minute left again, and the auger is still seemingly behind compared to the pickaxe here. It's only just gotten to about 2.5 stacks now. It's not too far behind, but it is still behind. Don't worry about the fact that there is no longer ceiling to this cave. It's just a symptom of the fact that I'm doing this very quick and very dirty, so I'm not putting up pillars because that would just get in the way of the testing. So no ceiling for now. No zombies have come to visit me, so I don't really have to worry. And we're done. So we got 20,814 there. That is less than the steel pickaxe. Now, it's not significantly less than the steel pickaxe. Let's compare here. As you'll see, the difference was only about 700 coal. But it is worth noting a couple of things here. First of all, that is actually a different result from what we got last time. The last time we did this test, it was with oil shale, but statistically that is the same block, don't worry about it. I also tested it with nitrate and coal in a personal world afterwards to make sure of that, but yeah, they are the same. But in the previous build, the pickaxe got absolutely smoked by the auger because I wasn't able to one-shot the ores with the steel pick. Now, in Alpha 21 Stable, it looks like the buff to the auger and the steel pick respectively have brought them very close to being in line in terms of their yields, with the steel pickaxe having ever so slightly more, which could just come down to simple, user error if nothing else. So the results are pretty much the same, but there is something to definitely consider here when it comes to picking your tool for coal, nitrate and oil shale, and that is that the steel pick does not generate anywhere near as much heat as the auger does, or noise. It is way safer, it uses less resources, and is all in all more convenient to use the steel pick. Now obviously, that all relies on you having 5 ranks of Motherlode and 5 ranks of Miner 69er. If you're just like a full pure intellect build, probably go with the auger because the auger doesn't have to deal with any stamina at all, and stamina is one of the big holdbacks of pickaxes. But if you're, like most people, got at least a little bit of strength, then the pickaxe is probably going to perform about the same as the auger if it can one-shot nitrate, coal and oil, and it's a lot safer than the auger is, so it's definitely worth using the steel pick there. Now let me grab all my extra coal. How much coal did I get in total then? After all the shenanigans and testing? 10 stacks of coal. I am good for a little bit. Now, I don't need to test this on nitrate and oil shale because I know they are the same. If you don't believe me on that, then sucks to be you, okay? They are the same, I know they are. The next thing we need to test is of course stone, because stone was something that in the previous build, the steel pick absolutely obliterated the auger on. It wasn't even close, because the steel pick was able to one-shot stone and the auger just couldn't keep up. I obviously don't need more stone because just mining these other resources is doing it fast enough, so that's something you should consider in your own worlds, is do you really actually need to mine any stone? Probably just mine something else. And I'm going to start with the auger because the auger does have another advantage over the steel pick, and that is that it can dig clay way easier, and once we get past this initial big rock there will be a couple of layers of clay to get through, which the auger will simply chew through instantly, and I will be able to go straight underground, and then we'll continue the test from underground for the steel pick. So, coffee up. Oh, I only have 1 coffee. Well, we'll come back with more coffee in a second and do the second test, but let's do the auger's test first. Oh wait, I need to put the bunker buster on it. I'll restart it, hang on. Hey, go away. Probably should have secured the area first, to be fair. Let me restart that timer. The coffee still has 5 minutes, so nothing of value is lost. Only fair to do it after the reload. There we go, let's begin. Okay, so I mined for 4 minutes, and the auger got... Hang on. So, I mined for 4 minutes, and the auger got 4 and just about half a stack of stone. I actually stopped at 4 minutes rather than 5 minutes because for some reason that stone node was right on top of an iron node, which I've never seen before. Usually right beneath the stone nodes is actually just a big patch of nothing but more stone, so I thought I was safe there. But 4 minutes is fine, I'll just adjust the pickaxe's test to be 4 minutes as well. Let me put all that stone in the gyrocopter so we can compare, and I need to go get a little bit more coffee real quick. Also, I got a skill point again. I'm just going to put that into Gunslinger. I feel like they might have turned up the amount of XP you get from mining, because I don't remember it being this good in the previous build. But, pretty decent. Let me get more gas. And coffee. Here we go. Wait, how did I run out of coffee? I had like 10. Is it actually just that much? I must have just used that much coffee. That's fine. Let's get the dew collectors here. I have a bunch of spare coffee beans still. I will queue up more coffee for later. I only need 2 for this test. Here we go. This is a really juicy stone node. I'm assuming the steel pick isn't going to be that much faster, that it's going to need even more room than this. So let me drink up 2 of the coffees. We'll do a 4-minute test for this one, of course, because there was a bit of a weirdness with the augers one. It's fine as long as they're both the same. Let's get down to mining this then. Although I did consider one thing with the coal test, and that is if you used a level 6 auger, you would probably get about the same as the steel pick, but the steel pick will never get better than what it currently is. If it one-shots, that's as good as it gets. So probably would go as far to say that the level 6 auger will either tie with the steel pick or will slightly outperform it, but it will come down again to if you can be bothered dealing with all the issues the auger has, like sound and heat and gas, and you probably have to use more repair kits on it as well, to be honest. But again, that's with this level 6 auger. If you're at the point where you have a level 6 auger, does it really matter if you get, you know, 4 stacks of stone in 5 minutes versus 4.5 stacks of stone in 5 minutes? But yeah, the level 6 one is something to consider, but I probably won't even get one in this series, so we're just going to do it today with the level 5 and extrapolate that given the level 6 auger is about 10% better, it'll probably do about 10% better than the level 5 one did, and it'll put it roughly in line with the steel pick. Okay, we have 10 seconds left. Ignore the snake, it's fine, it's not going to get me, it's fine, it's, you know, I'm just mining away. And there we go. Right, get away from me. So, that was 25,000 stone in 4 minutes. Where's my gyrocopter? That'll have the other stone. I've already forgotten what the other one had. So, gyrocopter, tell me how much the... Tell me how much the auger had. Now, I was starting to put this row in here. So it looks like the auger actually beat the steel pick this time by 1,000 stone. It's not significant, but it did beat it, it looks like, in 4 minutes. Now, obviously, the level 6 one would do even better. I'd imagine maybe a couple thousand more stone. But in the previous build of Alpha 21, the auger absolutely sucked in this test. I think the steel pick was something like 30 or 40% more ore. Now they're pretty much the same. Which again comes down to, is 1,600 stone worth the trouble of screamers and extra noise and the annoying noise of the auger and having to put up extra defenses to deal with it? If it is, then you can use the auger for stone, perfectly fine. That's a perfectly reasonable decision to make. I still think I would personally use the steel pick because the difference here is minimal, but it's a lot easier to just use the pick. I save gas, I don't have to go and mine other things later, use less repair kits, there's less noise, there's less zombies coming after me, there's less heat. It's a lot more pleasant, a lot more nice. I think when it comes to iron, the auger is gonna absolutely demolish the steel pick, and I think when it comes to clay as well, I think the auger is really gonna shred the iron shovel, because the auger already beat the steel shovel, and now it's going up against the iron shovel, which one-hits clay, so it makes the steel shovel completely pointless. You can one-hit clay with an iron shovel with the right perk combinations and stuff, so you don't ever have to use the steel shovel, so that's why we're going to use the iron one for that test later. But yeah, interesting result there. They were basically the same when it came to stone, which is a huge buff to the auger, it seems like. Even though they have buffed the steel pick as well, they've buffed the auger to such a significant degree. But even after they made it so that you can one-shot a lot more things with the steel pick, it's still around about the same yields. And obviously, the steel pick doesn't really get any better than that. You know, you can get a level 6 one, it's not going to one-shot the stone more. It's not faster to swing or anything. So we don't really need to consider the level 6 steel pick at all. But the level 6 auger is of course going to slightly outperform the level 5 one there. So yeah, that is very interesting. I'm going to fly home, get some more gas from my gyrocopter, and then I think we should do a clay test with the iron shovel and the auger. Now, there is one thing I would like to do really quickly before I head out and do that clay test, and that is take some of this concrete here and also queue up some more. Since I have so much crushed sand and stone, it's way easier now. Split this, I don't know, 200 each. Ignore that one, it's fine. I need to upgrade a decent chunk of my base up to concrete, because it's just not going to hold as cobblestone for the day 28 horde. I also would like a little bit more forged steel for it as well. I got a little bit. That will have to do for now. So, quick trip over to the horde base, just to make sure that it is all concretified, because it needs to be. Now, I'm probably only going to use this base one more time for the day 28 horde, and I'll probably build something else for the day 35, because it's too small to really be used as a late game base. You definitely could, but I prefer to be a bit more secure than just a small base like this. Well, I made a bit of steel by accident, that's the worst. I would like to make sure they absolutely don't touch this, though, by just making it all forged steel, but I need a bit more materials first, just to make sure that they think attacking the front is more worthwhile than attacking the pillar. While we wait for more forged steel to craft, maybe we can go and do that clay test. I have a decent amount of coffee to keep my stamina up. Not that it's as needed for clay, because I don't think it gets you more clay, the coffee. Now I do need what can only be described as an unhealthy amount of cobblestone later today, so I will make as much as I can between my two workbenches already and get rid of all the clay I have. And we'll go out and get some more. So, iron shovel should one-shot everything. Let me double check that it actually does. It does, so we don't have to worry about the iron shovel at all. It's just going to one-shot everything. The auger, however, might need a little bit of a help, I guess, would be the word, by making sure that it only breaks the weaker soil, because the green soil here has 250 health. It gives you the same amount of clay as the brown soil, which has 50 less health, which might not even be relevant for the auger. Let me see here. 1, 2, 3 to break that. 1, 2 to break that. So it is relevant to the auger. In order to make sure the auger gets a fair fight, I will have the auger breaking the clay soil down there, and I'll have the shovel just mine whatever, because either way it's going to one-shot. In order to make sure the auger has a chance at all, I will make sure it is fighting the slightly easier terrain, because that's what you would do realistically if you were wanting to replicate these results at home. You would want to use the auger on the best terrain you can. Now I'm going to get far-ish away from my base so that those screamers just aren't a thing, because if you're not here, the screamers can't do anything because they won't spawn in while you're away. So let's get, like, I don't know, to the other side of the town. I will dig a big patch of grass away with the shovel for the shovel's test, and then the clay that it uncovers I will dig up with the auger, and that seems like the fairest way to compare them, because obviously the shovel has no issue breaking the green soil, the auger will have a slight issue breaking the green soil. So if you're playing at home and you like the results here, make sure you use it on clay soil to get the exact same results. It will vary if you use the auger on the green soil. So, let me set a 5-minute timer. Let me eat 2 coffees. Get enough stamina for that. Let me start the timer. And immediately get down to digging up all of the green soil here with the shovel. Now, a couple of those did hit the grass, but it's fine that we will be clear from here on out. Alright, so we're about 2 minutes left. We've barely gotten a stack with the shovel. That seems very meh. I definitely think the auger is still going to absolutely obliterate the shovel in this test. Alright, time's up. We got just over 10,000 clay with the shovel in 5 minutes. Uncovering a nice little patch there. Let me drop that because it technically wasn't a part of this. There we go. So there's your 10,000 clay. I suspect the auger is going to absolutely blast that out of the water. Now, I don't remember if coffee affects clay yields, but for the sake of consistency, let's just throw it on there. Oh yeah, this is so fast. There's no way that this is gonna, like, lose to that shovel. Look at the speed. Now obviously it would be slightly slower if you were using it against the grass terrain, which has 50 more health. But, like, still, this is extreme. Like, I have 2,000 in the first 20 seconds. Shovel got that in, like, a minute. Do we really need to test this? Okay, I'll do it, but I think we all know where this is going. It's already halfway there. It has been 40 seconds. Oh, and just in case I didn't say it at some point, the grass and the clay soil have the exact same yields, it's just this has less health. But it makes no difference to the shovel because the shovel one-shots both of them, so this is a completely fair test here. Now, I don't think a level 6 auger would benefit you here at all, because it's not going to do twice as much damage. You know, if you can two-shot the clay soil, doing an extra like 15-20 damage per shot isn't going to reduce the amount of hits it takes, so it's not going to reduce the amount of time it takes. So level 5 auger is perfectly fine for clay. So, let's round it up to basically 30,000 in the same amount of time. In 5 teeny weeny little minutes, the auger was able to get me 30,000 clay, which is 3 times what the shovel was able to do. And again, I cannot stress this enough, the steel shovel would be worse than the iron shovel, so we don't need to test it. In total though, I got 40,000 clay there, so yay. I don't know, give me like... I have so much stone on me already. Craft 10,000 cobblestone. Another 10,000 cobblestone. That's pretty good amount of cobblestone, I'd say. Let's get this forge up and running with a stack of clay and a stack of iron, and it'll need a bunch of fuel. Hey, we got so much coal, why the fuck not, right? Just throw it in there. And then I'll let that turn on to forge steel. Sure, I'll make some more cement while I'm at it. Chemistry station, you're in need of fuel as well. Here you go. Get a little bit more coffee. Right. The rest of these materials can just wait until I need them. So, we did the oil, nitrate, and coal test. They're all just going to be the same, and the auger and the pickaxe were pretty closely tied. The level 5 auger was slightly behind the level 5 pick, but I think a level 6 auger would pretty much match it. The clay was just humiliating for the shovels. The auger just absolutely dominates there. Stone was slightly in the auger's favour, so all that remains now is testing the metals. Iron and lead are going to be exactly the same, except with iron you will get twice as much, so we don't need to test lead. But yeah, I think when it comes to the metals, it's not even going to be a close contest. The auger is going to get by far the most materials. It's not even going to be close. The thing about breaking metals is that it generates a lot more heat than breaking the stones and clay and nitrates would, right? Which means that it's going to be a lot harder to actually do the auger to use them. So there's definitely something to be said about just using your pick and living with the consequences of it. I might need to be slightly more intelligent with how I set out these tests if I want them to be reasonably fair, because what's going to happen is I'm going to get like 10 screamers in 5 minutes with a auger, and I'm going to get like 1 if I'm unlucky with a steel pick. So I think some spikes to go around the entrance to whatever mine I'm using would be wise for just keeping the screamers away from me. Yeah, where's going to be a good place for some iron? Let me have a look on the map. There is a big cluster of 3 here. That seems like a good place to start an iron test. I will use rockbusters because that's pretty much what I use them on. There we go. So let's drive on over to that iron source. Here we are. How do I want to do this? Because I can't stop in the middle of mining just to put up my little system, so maybe I need to start off with just a layer of spike traps around it initially. Now I can jump over these very comfortably, so don't worry about that. That's going to take so many to do this, isn't it? Maybe let's just contain it to these 2 here. Making extra spikes here, because 40 was not enough to get around this. Well, it would have been if I hadn't done that wrong little turn there. So for the auger, I'm going to want like a few layers of wooden spikes, I think, to keep the screamers out, because there's going to be a good few of them. Now, if you have turrets at home, probably use those. They're a bit more efficient, but I'm doing this on a bit of a low-tech budget. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the pick, because the pick's probably only going to generate a couple of screamers. So this little circle of spikes is probably going to be enough. I just have to make sure I don't collapse all the spikes, otherwise I wasted a lot of wood. This is already a waste of wood, but you know, it's for the interest of testing. If I was just playing, I wouldn't bother with the spikes. I would just fight the screamers. Let's take 2 coffees, a rock buster, and start a 5-minute timer, and let's go. And that's 5 seconds left. 3, 2, 1. That gave me 5 1/4 stacks, so 31,700 iron. Which is pretty good in 5 minutes. Like, even if the auger absolutely blows that out of the water, that's still a very healthy amount of iron to get in 5 minutes. Imagine you spent all day mining that. We didn't get any screamers that time, because the pick's just like that. It doesn't generate anywhere near as much heat. I'm going to put an extra layer around this now, because I do not expect such luxuries with the auger. I really don't get when people tell me to turn up the block damage, by the way. In 5 minutes with a steel pick, I was able to gather 30,000 iron. How much faster do you want this game to be? Like, that's enough iron to last you a while. Unless you're trying to make an absolute castle out of pure steel, why do you need that much iron? You know, you spend 1 in-game day mining all that, you'll have enough iron to last a long time. So that's why I don't turn up the amounts, because it would completely unbalance the game. If I was able to mine ores basically instantly, why not just turn on the creative menu and spawn the ores in if you want the ores instantly? Why are you going through all the nonsense of having an auger to do it? Just play creative if you want to build that much. Oh, I have fallen. But yeah, I like to keep my playthroughs relatively balanced, and that means keeping the block damage at most 100. I would turn it fucking down. I think it's too easy to get ores in this game. There, I said it! Now, for the auger, we're going to take 2 coffees, some rock busters, and we're going to hope that 2 layers of spikes is enough. Now let me start a 5-minute timer and get down to business here. So there is 5 minutes with the auger. That was 40,000 ore, so 25% better. I did get 2 screamers though, which is actually an improvement. In the previous build, I got like 6 in that time. I did not leave myself a good way out of this, did I? Normally I wouldn't be quite so unsafe with my mining, but I'm on a time constraint, I'm sure you understand. Oh hey, Spike. Let me just get rid of you. Oh, there we go. So I heard 2 screamers, definitely. Does that mean there was only 2? I don't know. But it looks like they all came from over here and slightly got spiked. So that is fine by me. 2 screamers isn't too bad, but yeah, 25% more ore, 2 screamers in 5 minutes. I would expect worse if you actually do that. I think I just got lucky there more than anything. So yeah, it was 31,000 versus 40,000. So do with that what you will. I think I'll still just use the steel pick, to be honest. It's so much more convenient. Like, you don't have to use gas, it's quieter, you don't generate as much heat. It's 25% worse, but I'm fine with that, to be honest. And grab all that. So I have 75,000 iron there. Not bad. Can't use most of it right now, but it was just more of a test. Now, lead is exactly the same as iron, but you get half as much per node. Iron is just a little bit extra and gives you more per. It will be the exact same ratio though. The steel pick will be outperformed by the auger, and you will get more heat than usual with lead, because it is also metal. And metals generate more heat when you break them. Really quickly, I want to go plant these 100 trees so that I can do the steel axe and chainsaw test at some point in the near future. It'll take 2 days for them to grow, so probably at the end of the next episode. Let me see here. I need them to be planted equal distances apart in 2 batches of like 50. So 1 has to be 3 away. Oh, this is going to take forever. 1, 2, 3. There we go, 100 trees planted. 2 batches of 50, 1 for the chainsaw, 1 for the steel axe. We will come back to those in a couple of days. So I think that's about all the time I have for this episode, and I like that it's all about resource collection. That's nice. It's nice and neat. In the next episode, though, we are going to go out, find a new location, build a new crafting base, and do our final horde in that other base before we go and build a new horde base near the new crafting base. I hope you found this video helpful in deciding which tools you want to use for your resource collection. The auger's usually better, but it's louder and gives you more hassle, so I think I'm mostly going to stick with a steel pick, unless we're talking about clay, because then the auger really is worth the trouble. But let me know what you think down in the comments. Thank you to my channel members and patrons for making this video possible, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode of Insane Nightmare.